What's up, traders? It's Matt with Conservative Trades. Hope everyone's doing all right today. I'm ending the day down $142. Thank God that's all. There was actually at one point where I was down over 400, probably 450 bucks. So I literally dug myself out over $300 out of the hole. And the biggest reason for this hole was this little bugger right here, FSLY, which, you know, there always seems to be one just like this. I was actually looking at this level right here. I saw this as a very key level to break. It had kind of, bounced off of it in pre-market, came up, and I noticed that we kind of had this sort of a thing going on here. So it bounced up and got rejected, and it started coming down. And look, I got in right here. I got short right at the break. And we were getting some really nice resolution to the downside. I mean, look at this. And so I decided to add to my position. Well, then what happened? Well, first of all, I added here. It got bought all the way back up through VWAP, and I got out. And then it came down, and then I added to my position because I thought, okay, this is good. This is going to go now, and I really thought we were going to get a break down here to the 72s, but we didn't. And it actually came back up, and I ended up getting out here for a pretty significant loss. But then look at this; it's almost like it double topped, right? It's almost like it double topped. It had a fake out breakout. You're thinking, man, this is going to go, but then it came all the way back down. And so when it was getting ready to break this level again, I got in again. I got in here. Got in here, started taking profit here, took profit here, and then as it came up, I got in a little bit more, got in a little bit more, and was waiting for this to just come crashing down, and it didn't. It ended up going right back up against me, and so this was a chop fest, essentially. This was a chop fest. Whenever you hear me talk about chop fest, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, it's one of those stocks that it just did not trade clean. Again, we had this trend line. It seemed to be breaking through VWAP, but then it comes back up and breaks back up through the 5 or the 9 moving average. And it looked like it was going to go back up, but then it came down, and then it's like, okay, well, this is the break, but then it went all the way back up here. I mean, what a short squeeze. What a short squeeze. We're seeing more and more of this in the markets right now. I have seen this more times, and this has really messed up my trading strategy more times than I'd like to admit. Now, I mean, even here, when you get the complete fail and it looks like it's going to break through, I mean, look at this. And then it just comes all the way back up. And so, guys, I can't call it. This is kind of why I've been shape-shifting my strategy, so to speak, a little bit here lately, because I have found that getting in on pullbacks, just waiting for pullbacks, is the thing to do. But, why didn't I wait for a pullback here? Because a lot of times, you guys know me, a lot of you that have been following the channel, I'll usually wait for a big run up like this. I'll start adding here, I'll add in here, I'll add in here, and then when it comes down, I'll end up, getting out a lot of those shares and usually making a bit of a profit. And then when it runs back up really high, I'll get in and I short these big buy ups. I short into these big buy ups because they're pretty faithful to the pullbacks. Of course, it's not on every stock, but you have to know what stocks to do it on, and you have to know the indicators and whatnot. But the reason why I wanted to go for the break is because it just looked like if it broke through all this consolidation back here that it was going to go. And I did not have this trend line drawn out here yet. You can see right here, this big trend line. Look at this. Look at how well it has respected this trend line. But I actually drew this later in the day when this was all the way up here or maybe over here. I drew that later in the day and I noticed it. And then it started tapping through it down here and it crushed through it. And it looked like it was about to finally go and have an end of day flush. I got in just 50 shares, but then had to buy them back. And I'm glad that I did because it just teetered around in aftermarket hours. And I would not have wanted to sit on that. But guys, it was just really hard to read. I mean, what can I say? But thank goodness, TBIO, that was actually one that I was also down on. You can see coming out of the gates, it looked like it was going to break down through these levels and get crushed. And so, and that's kind of right where this level was right here. And so you can see I went short, but then it got bought up. And then it came back down, looked like this was finally going to go. I went short, but then I had to get out. And then finally over here, I went short again, got out, went short, and then got out all the rest of the shares there. So I was actually in the red. I was down, I don't know, over $100, maybe $150 at one point. You can go back. The live stream's posted to the channel. You can see. But I want to say it was between $100 and $150. So I dug myself out of the hole and ended up paying for all the trading on that. So TBIO ended up being all right. Spotify was another one. And, talk about getting into these pullbacks here. This is part of my strategy. So I saw this massive run up here, and I got short, and I got out there for just a nice little scalp. I actually was waiting for a test of the of this level right here, so it didn't quite make it all the way down. This actually could have been a much better trade, but then it started getting run up again. I went short there. I started averaging there. I think 30 shares here, 30 shares here, 60 shares here, and then another 30 shares up here. And then finally it started coming down, and I got out with a nice little, I don't know, $60, $70 profit right there. But I wish I'd kind of stayed on Spotify a little bit, because it ended up making a great move to the downside. So, but anyway, nonetheless, we made $77 on that, so not bad at all. RCL was another one. Same thing, guys. I tell you, you short into these pullbacks, and as long as you time your averaging in well, I was looking at these levels up here as potential resistance, and I was also tracking it with NCHL or NCLH, sorry, and I noticed that NCLH was going to be tapping up against some resistance from all these areas back here, and you can see over here that's where it was tapping up against it. So it was kind of the leader in the cruise line market today, and so so I was very comfortable to add more. I brought my average all the way up. It kind of teetered around, and I brought at one time, I think I had 700 shares at an average of 54.08, I think it was, and I took profit all down through here, through 53.86, and then I went short again here, but then had to get out as it started to run back up. So all in all, we made roughly around $70 on that move. So not bad at all, not bad at all. And then of course Boeing caught again one of the pullbacks, guys. I got in here and then scalped out there. Then it came to the top here. I got in here and scalped out there. But obviously left a lot on the table. So, today almost could have been a break-even day, but guys, I tell you what, I'm just struggling. But the thing that's most annoying about this, the thing that's most annoying about this is that this actually could have been a $150 day if I just left FSLY alone. I've got to learn, guys, and I think we all need to start learning that the market is just not trading the way that it used to. It's just not. When it opens, it's very rare that we're actually getting these big long flushes that we would normally get, or these big massive buy-ups that we would normally get. I mean, we get a flush, then a massive buy-up. And then, think about all the people that got in here thinking, oh, it's buying up. And then they get this massive flush. And then think about all the people, they're like, okay, it's breaking key levels and it's about to come down, and then it gets bought all the way up here. Chop Fest. 2020. That's what this should be called. The market overall for the last several months has, particularly for, more of the mid-cap, large-cap stocks have been nothing but a chop fest. I think small caps have been doing well. The low floaters have obviously been doing well. FFHL was one that we were actually looking at this morning, and I kind of wish I got in on it because I literally, at one point I had an order just for 100 shares out here around 660 or 640 was it? And you can see here, it ended up coming down a little, but just on 100 shares, I could have held through that. Man, what a buy up! What a buy up on it! All the way over $10. There's been a lot of great low float plays here in the market, but when you're dealing with the larger cap stocks, there's a lot of chop. There is a lot of chop. There just is. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much the trades for the day. Hope you all enjoyed the content. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and consider joining us in the live stream. We do stream live right here on the channel Monday through Friday beginning roughly around 9 a.m. And to all my regulars, looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Have a great night.